for this Sunday Live, I thought I'd pay a bit of homage to my home country, Scotland. You can see I've got the kilt on tonight, because there's one lesson from the history of Scotland that is really relevant to the content for tonight. The movie Braveheart, which came out in 1995, it won some awards. It's got many historical inaccuracies, and I don't really want to focus on the character of Wallace. I want to focus on another character in the movie, being Robert the Bruce. Now, Robert the Bruce, the name itself comes from France, but Robert the Bruce was ultimately to become the King of Scots. In 1298, he was awarded the position of Guardian of Scotland, and then he resigned from that position in 1300 because of arguments and quarrels. And then in 1302, he kind of played politics under the peace of King Edward I and settled down a little. In 1306, though, he committed murder with one of his key opponents, John Comyn, and because of that, he was excommunicated from the church and he had to flee. And he fled to the Outer Hebrides and also to Ireland. And I'll come back to that in a moment because there's something super powerful that happened at that time. Anyway, between 1306 and 1314, he slowly whittled away his opponents. And then in 1314, he won a decisive victory at the Battle of Bannockburn, defeating the English army. And they were vastly outnumbered. And that's really where Scotland got its independence. And that's where he was recognized as King of Scots, which he remained until he died in 1329. Even the Pope, who'd excommunicated him, recognized him as such. So let's go back to that cave in the Outer Hebrides. The story goes that when he was in hiding in caves, he was seeing a spider struggle. And watching that spider struggle, it made him realize that if at first you don't succeed, try again. And that's reportedly the battle cry he said to the army on the fields of Bannockburn, which ignited them to go into battle. And that really is around this theme of consistency. That is a habit of success, to be consistent to what you're trying to do. It may not happen first time, it may not happen second time, it may not even happen the way you want it to happen, but consistency and effort will see you through. The second thing to discuss is an amazing movie I love called Cloud Atlas, and it follows several lifespans where it's following a journey of somebody's evolution. And the basic concept is that our lives are not our own, we're bound to other people. And with every kindness or every cruelty, we determine our past, our present, and our future. And really that's one about helping people and collaboration. There's a scene in the movie where a group of old people are escaping from a retirement home in Scotland, and where the guy says, our friends have been treated most direly and we're in a wee bit of need of assistance. And that's really around this theme, which is collaboration. You know, we cannot succeed if we don't have the right people helping us to achieve. I'll pay homage to that this week alone. Thank you, Ryan Peters and Ryan Jenkins. You guys have been absolutely outstanding for me this week. I've got some amazing collaborators. And actually, I think often about one of my friends, Keith, who I grew up with. His home was my second home. He passed away far too early when I was age 40. And homage to him as well tonight. So coming back to that movie Braveheart, the funny thing about Braveheart, whilst the movie's about William Wallace, the title itself, Braveheart, is actually related to Robert the Bruce. And the reason is when he died, his body was buried in Dunfermline Abbey, but his heart was removed from his body, not unnormal back in those days. And they took his heart to battle because he really wanted to go to a crusade, and the rumor has it that his heart was led into battle, which was victorious, and ultimately his heart came back to Scotland and was buried in Melrose Abbey. They've even found a box which they can't 100% say was the remains of his heart, but it's a safe assumption that it is. And so I'd like to say a couple of things to close, and that is brave heart. To proceed a brave heart, you've got to first of all have a brave mind. And to make everything come to fruition, you've also got to be backed up by brave friends. And by the way, for the record, the question you're asking, am I? The answer, of course, is no. That'll do for tonight. We'll get this loaded and we'll speak to you soon.